Welcome back to another episode of SX Podcast. I'm here again with Andrew. We're excited about talking all things sx.bet, SX Network. Andrew, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, no better place to start than a quick review of last month. So just talk to us a little bit about how September went and how you feeling about going into October.
Awesome. Yeah, no, very exciting. September, obviously, it was our first month post migration of sx.bet onto SX Network. So very a lot of sort of headache and getting people migrated to the new site, which is obviously a lot of work, and a new chain. But overall, it was still very positive. Betting volume came in at essentially exactly 20 million, which is a 240% growth from last year September. So that's obviously super positive. It's also really good because it essentially showed that volume didn't tail off in any way from August, even though we had to go through this huge migration. So for the most part, because I know a big risk that a lot of people were talking about was maybe people won't migrate over onto SX Network. And I think that risk factor has been sort of mitigated, and just kind of shown to not be a big thing, given that our volume was sort of, we still hit the $20 million range. So that was great. The protocol also earned about $135,000 in USDC earnings, as well as 17 ETH, and over 100,000 SX was burnt, which I think was our biggest month ever in terms of burning SX. And yeah, I mean, 100,000 SX burnt is amazing. That's over 1.2 million SX burnt per year in terms of the annualized rate. So lots and lots of positive stuff there. And yeah, really excited about October. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things coming down the pipeline on the tech roadmap as well, which we can talk about later. Yeah, in terms of September stuff, we also built in the bridge functionality directly into the app. That was something a lot of people talked about. So we were happy to get that done. Put in a fix to reduce a lot of failed bets, and then just a lot of performance and stability improvements. Anyone that's been using the platform can probably remark that the stability has dramatically improved over the last couple of weeks. So lots of positive stuff.
No question about it. And I know you and Jake set some pretty lofty goals for what you guys wanted to happen post-migration, especially in the month of September. We came up, slightly short in terms of hitting that number, only because you had a little bit of, hiccups here and there, as you would with some major migration like that. I know the question did pop up a few times in Discord. It was answered, but just for everybody here, how was that month of 20 million? How did that put us in terms of all-time rankings or anything like that?
Yeah, so it was actually just shy of our best month ever, which and pretty much flat from August, which in hindsight is actually pretty good given all of the issues we had with the migration. And we've done these big migrations in the past. The biggest one we did was actually when MakerDAO. We had to shift from SAI, which is a single collateral DAI, to multi-collateral DAI. And so we had to do a huge migration there. That was about 2.5 years ago. So we're sort of used to these big migrations, but overall, I think it mostly went well. And one thing that's been great to see as well is SharkSwap, which is the sort of decentralized exchange on SX Network. Its TVL has also doubled over the course of the month, from sort of $3 million to I believe it's roughly around 7 million or just below 7 million. And trading volumes have been up pretty substantially. So that's been really great to see. I'm curious, because I know you're sort of the SharkSwap master, if there's any farms you're looking at farming, or what are the things you're doing on SharkSwap nowadays?
Yeah, man. I'm definitely taking advantage of the dual rewards, and what I mean by that is I'm big into the DeFi world, and I used to love the auto compounders. I know we don't have one on the network at the moment, but I kind of just manually compound. So right now I'm sitting in the and the sx.eth, sx.matic, and then the Shark USDC, and basically kind of take my rewards, put them together, and just continue to compound them. And I think those are three major projects that I believe in. Some blue chip projects between SX, Matic, and Ethereum, and Shark has been doing extraordinarily well in terms of price and just maintain, especially being a reward token. You typically don't see those hold up well, but with some of the deflationary mechanisms built in, and with the biggest pair being Shark and SX, as SX has been doing well, it's been very good for me. So that's kind of what I've been doing. Once again, not financial advice, obviously, but do love hanging out in those pools there, man.
Yeah. I mean, you're the shark swap master, so I'm happy to hear. We got to get you. I got to get my SX merch, which we have some actually pretty cool announcements coming there as well. And
yeah,
we need to get you like a farmer's outfit or something for these podcasts.
with a big
Maybe
shark swap hat. Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
yeah, exactly. Get you a shark fin, and then also a farmer's outfit. You can be a shark farmer.
That's right, man.
Yeah, and then just two other things I wanted to also point everyone's attention to that happened in September. So the first is Fireblocks. So Fireblocks is the leading institutional investors sort of custody solution. So most crypto VCs in the world, as well as most crypto hedge funds, use Fireblocks for custodying assets, particularly assets that like large centralized exchanges don't custody. So things like Coinbase Institutional, because their coverage isn't too broad. So for the sort of vast majority of long tail tokens, and just even actually just blue chip tokens, it's kind of the preferred choice. And we were really excited to see earlier this month, Fireblocks announced that they're integrating SX network, and that integration has actually gone live now. So it sort of opens the door for institutional adoption of SX network, and all the tokens and all that, and all the apps as well, actually on SX network, can now be accessed through Fireblocks' institutional custody solution, which is hugely positive. So I'm really happy about that. And there's going to be some stuff come out as well related to that we're really excited about. And then the second big thing is Sparkwave, which we did an announcement about that last week. And they've also integrated SX network directly into their application, and essentially allows you any application on SX network to run sort of viral marketing campaigns, to increase Twitter engagement, Discord, Telegram, really anything related to social media. So the Sparkwave integration, we did sort of a preliminary marketing initiative with them for sx.bet's Twitter account. So I should say, expect a lot more stuff coming out there over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be really exciting. So one on the institutional sort of investor side, and then one on the marketing side. So both of them we're really excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. Just been in the social media wing of SX. Yeah, I was thoroughly pleased kind of with the first little 1 week campaign that we did see an increase in engagement and activity amongst users and stuff on sx.bet Twitter account. So that was awesome to see. And then as far as stuff moving forward, we will have another meme contest, but it's going to look a little different because we're going to integrate the Sparkwave, some of the mechanisms that they have there. So just real quick, if I'm sure most people have been in the crypto world long enough, you're kind of familiar with the meme thing, but just talk to us about what to expect from a meme contest.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're obviously going to be very hands-on with helping there as well. So meme contests are, we've actually had, I think, 2 or 3 of them already in our history of SX. They're awesome. They're great for community engagement. Essentially, you get rewards for making memes related to SX. Last time we did one in conjunction with SharkSwap as well. So there's some shark memes. And we should throw up some of the SX memes on this podcast, but because there's some absolutely hilarious ones that got submitted. And so that's going to be coming out also this month, that I'm really excited about.
No doubt.
And one other thing about October that I know you're excited about is the analytics platform as well. Is going to be coming out in the next couple of days. So it actually shows daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly betting volumes, protocol revenue, and then also shows SX burnt. So you can track all of that in these essentially very nicely designed charts. And so, and we'll make them shareable and have all sorts of stuff like that too. So those are going to be the three main stats we track in sort of the V1 of this. Over time, we'll also include data on staking, SX network transactions, breakdown of betting volumes, affiliates, all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, really excited about that. And I know you were sort of tweeting a little bit about it and sharing in the Discord. So I know you're excited about it as well.
No doubt, man. Yeah, I saw the previews you dropped, man, and just from an aesthetic standpoint, looks nice, crisp, and clean. And spending time in that SX Discord, you see a lot of people ask. They're always interested in kind of the metrics of what's going on sx.bet and SX network, and so it'd be cool to find it all in one place in a nice, clean, fashion. So really excited about that. And then I know this isn't exactly on a roadmap, but I did want to mention it. I think one of the coolest things I've been seeing here is I popped around CoinGecko and DAP Radar and things like that. I keep seeing some advertisements, holding SX.bet and SX network. So that's been really exciting, and looking forward to continue to see that grow and attract more users over to the platform.
Yeah, for sure. And that's been something we've been working on for a while. A big thing for us is kind of the motto of SX, as we talked about in the first podcast. It's all about community ownership. Sports betting companies, I mean, we've talked a lot about this, but the big edge that we see with sx.bet, and then obviously by extension SX network, is that we want to give ownership of the platform directly to the community. That's something that's never been done before. A fully community owned sort of sports betting and political prediction market, I think, is a really cool thing to have in society. And I think it's sort of in the public interest. And so it's something that we're obviously really, really focused on building. And so, yeah, it's just like a lot of this advertising you're seeing it's kind of like, don't just beat the house, own the house. And that really sort of speaks to what we're trying to do with SX. So yeah.
You mentioned political prediction markets, and so there's some exciting news that also popped up here within the last couple of days regarding the having some of the U.S. markets up. Talk to us a little bit about that and what you're looking forward to here over the next, I guess month before those markets start coming to fruition.
Yeah, so the U.S. midterms, obviously those are happening very soon in November. And yeah, there's a ton of really cool markets on sx.bet. We actually put out an article about them, and as well have a sort of a banner ad on the site showing it. And yeah, so far there's actually a couple of market makers as well. So there's decent liquidity on some of these markets, particularly in USDC. And interestingly enough, the most bet market right now is on whether Republicans will win both the House and the Senate. So people are sort of betting on if there's going to be a red wave. And the market currently has it as has the red wave as a slight underdog. So I'm just looking at it right now, and there's roughly a 62% chance that the Democrats win either one or both of the houses, so House and Senate, with only like a 45% chance that the Republicans sweep both. And what's interesting is we actually saw a lot of people, we've seen a lot of sort of betting on this back and forth between the two. But yeah, it's been really cool to see. The odds have sort of shifted a little bit. It looks like the probability of a red wave has sort of been slowly inching up. So that's been really cool to see. We saw one big bet on the Republicans holding Congress. So that's a bit of an underdog. Sorry, that's sort of betting on a big favorite, because Republicans are currently an 80% probability to win the House. And then we've seen a couple small bets on sort of the Herschel Walker race, individual race, and the Ohio, or sorry, not Ohio, I believe it's Pennsylvania, Fetterman versus Mehmet Ozel, Dr. Oz race as well. Yeah, I mean, I know you're a football guy, so you saw the Herschel Walker. He's obviously a big, sort of was one of the biggest running backs in the history, and then I think he became an MMA fighter. So,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, it's been cool to watch. Definitely. I don't know if there's any sort of races you're looking at that could be interesting to bet. Um,
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, obviously the football tie with Herschel Walker, and just some of the current news kind of surrounding that whole deal with him, and all the other stuff kind of circling that. So it'll be interesting to see how all of it plays out. I'm probably on par with a lot of what you already mentioned in terms of where stuff was leaning, but yeah, I do have my eye on that. But maybe not so much even just the prediction market, just the drama that's surrounding it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at there, man. Um,
yeah,
anything that's catching your eye off
it,
that?
yeah, I think so. I haven't made any bets yet. I don't. It's tough. I need to do a little bit more analysis. And the race is still sort of I believe more than a month out.
Yeah.
So I don't want to tie up money too early, but um, I think. I mean, again, this is just purely from a betting perspective, but it seems like from what I was reading, this thing that was saying that the polls may be having a sort of 2016-esque
Hmm.
um, underestimation of the Republicans. So the polls may be sort of overvaluing the Democrats in both races, just given that Republicans sort of, at least recently over the last couple of years, are less likely to sort of respond to polling
Right.
because it's mostly done through sort of telephones and stuff like that. Um, and so that's kind of an interesting tidbit because the Republicans typically what happens in the second year, like during the midterms of a president, is they typically lose a lot of support. So it's
Hmm.
very rare for a president to actually keep both houses after the first 2 years. It's just the way the system works. It's very cyclical. So typically, if you're the ruling party, you sort of automatically lose support. So those two sort of things, that historical pattern, as well as sort of this, I don't know if it's conspiracy theory, but more, I guess, theory that polls are overestimating Democrats, makes me think that Republicans is probably the smart money move.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I mean, there's just been a lot of momentum towards the Democrats over the last couple of months, so it's tough to really parse.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do a deeper dive in the next couple of weeks, and then I can start giving out my picks. But
Yeah.
uh,
No doubt. Yeah. The interesting thing is the kind of the polling, how since 2016, man, they've been kind of so far off. And you know, I'm sure there's some other reasons to probably add into why polling has, tailed away from what reality has been. But that does put a interesting skew on prediction markets because you can't lean on those, nowhere near as much anymore.
yeah, for sure, it's tough to know, and um, I think that probably makes sense, just because I believe the polling error over the last three election cycles um, has been um, has been in the sort of Republican favor. So
Hmm.
polls have sort of seemed to be systematically underestimating them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's just a ton of negative momentum. So it'll be interesting to see, though they do have that, like I said, that historical trend in their favor. So yeah, I mean, it's tough to say, but maybe in that case, it would make sense to take the Republicans to win both the House and the Senate, given that it's a slight underdog at the moment.
Yeah.
Whereas sort of historically, it should be a large favorite if you're just purely looking at like historical trends. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so that's pretty much it. I mean, um, yeah, I think that makes sense. And then, I mean, if you want, another way to slice it is you could also bet on the individual sort of races on the Republicans if you think that Republicans sort of systematically are undervalued. Um, so in that case, that would be sort of betting for our football buddy Herschel and Dr. Oz.
Right.
um, but yeah, so that's kind of how I look at the market. Um, and one last thing before we go, because I know we don't have too much time. I do want to show, or at least point everyone to, we have this packed tournament schedule in October. $70,000 of bet credits are being given away in prizes in just October alone. And currently there's a $20,000 seasonal kickoff tournament that's happening right now, and it's actually ending in a couple days. And then the SX Cup, which I believe is actually our largest tournament ever. It's a $30,000 prize pool to sort of celebrate the return of NBA and NHL. And that starts in 5 days. So that starts on Sunday, I believe, which is super exciting. So a lot of stuff happening in SX land, that's for sure.
No doubt about it, man. Well, as Andrew mentioned, just stay tuned for the tournaments. And if you're listening to this right now, like I said, I believe the current tournament seasonal kickoff ends on the 13th here. So it's not too late to hop in 5 bets to be eligible, and hope to see you guys taking part of that.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to the next pod as well. As always, it's a pleasure. And I mean, I think these are great to keep the community informed, and we'll change up the format over time. We'll do some town halls. We'll keep experimenting, and obviously we'll be more merched out in the future. Because right now we just got the basketball jersey in the background, but we need it's all SportX branded. We need some SX branded stuff, so that's coming down the pipeline as well.
I can't wait. Thanks everybody for joining.